Welcome back, everyone, to the Masters of Undeath campaign, me, Dwarf Pete, where in the last episode, we crafted the potion to turn ourselves into a lich. And now, we simply need to go through with the ritual. And we also conquered quite a bit of the Deep Woods. And today, I think we're going to get started with a war with the goblins, who I think I'm just going to expel them. The Deep Woods are for the true children of the Fae, the Emerald Orcs. So let's just get our troops into position and come down from speed 5. I don't know why we were on that. And let's get ready to do so. Okay. I gotta remember how to do this. Oh, yeah, there is a new interface. But I won't talk about it just yet. Is there anything different? No. Same as it's always been. Alright. Purging the goblins. Get rid of them. Alright, and let's get started with a monstrous conquest, and we will just send Uga Kuga Steelite. It's a great name. To do our sieging for us. And we should probably try to explore a little bit of the outside world. If we could capture a hold, that would be kind of cool. Yeah. Probably take a little bit. So, game plan. Want to become a lich today. Maybe get the first government reform, that would be awesome. Yeah. Go from there. Want to build up some forts. And hopefully somebody will colonize into our lands so we can expand outward. Because otherwise it's going to be kind of awkward. Speaking of awkward, that is the theme for me recording this today. At the time I'm recording this, the episode is set to go out in about 5 hours here. Kind of pushing it. But I have been playing quite a bit of Old World today, recently released on Steam. And it has been scratching an itch that I haven't felt since Civ 5, really. See, it's been about like 5 years since I've had a good scratch of that 4X genre. And I was waiting to kind of cast my judgment on the game, mostly because I wanted to give it at least a good 20 hours of playing. Oh, here we go. So, the vessel for lichdom, to contain the soul, must be as dark and accursed as the path of lichdom itself, so no ordinary glass bottle will do. A quote from Necromantic Tactics, a common inquisitorial training guide on lichdom and its accompanying science. Once the transformation potion's contents are complete, it must be transferred into a special container specifically made for the purpose of lichdom. Such a container must be dark and accursed, created of only the vilest means and materials. And once again, we're going to go for the most expensive option, always. But I have been playing quite a bit of Old World. Oh, man. Let me talk, game. Oh, neat! I didn't know that there was a special special thing if you had abjuration. Okay, cool. A man's home is his castle, and a lich's ritual chamber is his home. It should be decorated as such. As every good mage knows, preparation is half the battle. The dark ritual of lichdom is a dangerous undertaking, and the ritual chamber must be prepared accordingly, with several overlapping magical circles, enchanted ornaments, and an appropriately ornate pedestal on which to place the phylactery. And apparently we get a better option than normal. Sweet. But I have been quite addicted to Old World over the past 2 weeks since it's come out. And it kind of fills in a subgenre of strategy gaming that I feel like just hasn't been touched in a while. And so, it is both ironic and sad. Your liches come so close to enlightenment before they throw it all away on the dark altar of earthly immortality. So saith the Halessi guru, Zhao the Unnamed. Once all preparations are complete, the supplicant must then cleanse their body and soul of all the burdens of worldly flesh. This often requires years of voluntary deprivation to evoke a state of near death and mindlessness. So we begin cleansing our body to be able to undergo the ritual, getting us even worse diplomatic reputation. What's this get? This will put us over the -10. Yeah. Nice. Alright, well, there's the goblins. We can just full core them. And yeah, I don't see any way this could go wrong. Sure. Cool. Okay. And we will keep an army here, keep an army there. We don't have a ton to do until we could go kill Silent Blade, but no real reason to, I suppose. We can just kind of chill for a little bit, which is nice. I like chilling. And we might as well turn it up to speed 4 while we just kind of chill. It's nice. I like it. Oh, and hey, we're at great power. Nice. That's all you had to do, huh? Nice, and we even get rid of some stinky goblins. One thing I once again forgot to do, raise the provinces. We definitely need that mana more than anything else. And I can go ahead and core. Okay. But, since we've got some time to talk, could put it up to speed 5. I probably will. Okay, let's make sure it's all territoried. And I don't have... Ooh, no, don't want to fight them. And you have a ton of troops, and I don't feel like picking a fight with somebody. I don't want to go into the mountains, I just did that. Plus, I'm not making you my vassal. No way. Well, I could. Just to make you chill. To not have my trade taken from me in that direction. I'll have to think about that one. I would never be able to integrate them, but that's not a big deal. As I was saying though, there's quite a few genres of games under the strategy banner. You know, if I feel like I want to play something environment rich, or did they really? Okay. Living so close to the influence of the Fae, it is expected that tragedy strikes more often than boons. Especially favored for their mischief are love children, for their pranks affect both the target and bring sorrow to their family. This day they have chosen your heir for their fun, causing great grief to everyone and most importantly, you. And our heir gets stolen, but joke's on you, game. I'm gonna become a lich. Who needs an heir when you got when you're a lich? Who cares? But there are many different genres, subgenres underneath strategy gaming. If I'm feeling something story-based or environmental, then Darkest Dungeon is my current go-to. If I want something economic-based, then obviously EU4 is pretty much the granddaddy, the end-all be-all for that goal. And if I just want something tactics-based, then currently Total War Warhammer is a great pick. Although I won't talk about 3. It's just been released, because that's a story that's yet to be written. But there's been kind of 2 genres that I just haven't been able to get my itch scratched for quite some time now. And the first being RTS, which, as far as I'm concerned, hasn't been... there hasn't been a good RTS release since 2018 or 2019, which is when Northgard came out, I believe. And that game is very enjoyable, but there hasn't been really anything new in the scene. And then the second subgenre that kind of hasn't been able to scratch that itch that I just want to play and enjoy is your classic Civ 4X game. Which, Civ 6, it wasn't very good for me. And holy crap, Thrall. Thrall. What a god. But Civ 6 didn't really do it for me. I understand what they were trying to do. They made the game less complex to appeal to a broader and more aging audience that didn't have as much time to play, and probably weren't fans of the genre. And so it just wasn't enjoyable as someone who's played a ton of time with Civ 5, and Civ 4 for that matter. So, in comes Old World, which, wasn't on my radar because it was a Epic game, which I don't really like Epic as a company. I don't think they're doing good things for gaming as a whole. But if they had good games, then yeah, I'd probably buy their products. Ooh, here we go. So long have I waited for this moment. No matter the consequence, no matter the pain, I will not falter. Archmagus Giranoth, his final words of mortality. When the time is ready, the supplicant must stand inside their ritual chamber, next to the phylactery, and drink the transformation potion. If they don't drink it fast enough, or they don't die immediately after drinking the potion, the body and soul will fail to separate fully, and the lich-to-be will die permanently. And so we only have one final task left to do. We must drink the potion of undeath. Please, for the love of God, don't kill me. Yay. Thank you. Oh, thank goodness. It is done. Morgoroks, the first lich. The pain is truly terrible. The poison scours your bones, and the ritual tears your spirit from its earthly vessel. Every inch of your body feels as though it is burning, freezing, and evaporating all at once. But finally, the pain fades, and you are still standing. The next few days are quiet ones, spent assessing your new existence alone in your chambers. Your new body looks much like your old one, though you no longer feel the pangs of hunger or thirst, nor any other distracting mortal urge. Your flesh already hangs loosely from your bones due to the emaciation of your long cleansing. Given enough time, it will eventually slough away and leave only your polished skeleton behind. You will be a perfect being in body as well as in mind and soul. Immortality is mine. Destiny is everything. And we are now a lich. Oh my goodness. And do we actually get another trait? What do we... Great. Great. Awesome. So that is goal 1 of this campaign finished. Now, we need to get legendary in all of these magics. And I think, to start off the next study, I would like to do... Which one's the one that allows you to enhance your abilities? This one, yeah. Transmutation. Which deals in spells that change an object and its properties into something else, such as turning rocks into gold or shape-shifting into creatures. Mages who focus in this school are called transmutators. And I wonder if I could turn my bones into gold. Oh, fascinating. Okay, so let's study this, and we will spend mana points, because we're definitely going to have a ton of those soon enough. And we will just kind of let the world go by for a little bit. But back to what I was saying about Old World. It's made by the same guys that made Civ 5, and the best way I would describe it, some of the reviews I've read kind of try and compare it to Civ 6, but I don't feel, awesome, more gobos running away, that's a good comparison. I think the best... That's a good war. The best comparison I could make for it is if you took Civ 5 and you basically gave it like 3 more years of development, and then you put it in an antiquity setting. So basically, if Imperator Rome was a 4X, that's kind of how I'd describe it. And it is probably the most interesting one, Civ-like 4X I've played so far this year. Probably this, you know what, I can even say the term decade. And oh boy, we get some Diplo rep. But one of the reasons it's so addicting is because it just keeps there's a learning curve similar to EU4. It is deep on first impressions. Whereas Civ 6 had the problem where there was basically one strategy to win, and that was just spam production. Old World solves this problem by pretty much... you have 3 different types of production. And whereas Civ 6 would basically be like, okay, rush to the end of the tech tree in order to... we can attack these boys again. And we can finish our conquest of the Deep Woods. So, whereas Civ 6 was essentially just rush to the end of the tech tree, which is basically what EU4 is. You know, there isn't really a decision to be made about, oh, do I want Diplotech 6 before Diplotech 5? There isn't really any decision making here. It's just go to the end and you win. Whereas Old World is truly fascinating because you've got to balance your military and your economy in a way that just hasn't been done before in a 4X, or at least not in a long time. To give you an example, the top half of the tech tree is essentially entirely economic focused. However, it's economic focused in a way such that will make it far easier for you to train a military. But here's the funny thing. The entire bottom half of the tech tree is all of the military units you need to make. So it's a catch-22. You've got to make the decision, do I go for the top to be able to build up the economy I need to make the units? Or do I go to the bottom in order to try and get a combat advantage over my enemies? And it's the entire game's just full of just interesting, I won't say dichotomies, but strategic decisions like this. And the other thing that kind of makes it the new 10 out of 10 in the genre for me is that Civ 6 has the problem where after essentially, I'd say, 70 turns, you know who's going to win the game. And if you play anything more than 100 turns, it's really quite stale. Like, it really slows down. But the biggest innovation of the Old World is that it includes something called an order system, which at first I thought was kind of stupid. He says as he's not able... really? I can't get 100%? That's frustrating. That sucks. Alright, fine, we'll get that. Can I just 100% it? Like this? No. Like this. Oh, come on. Alright, fine, we'll go with this. Whatever. What Old World does to solve the problem of the late game being very, very boring in Civ-likes is that it introduces something called the order system, which every unit and every action you take in the game requires a set amount of points, which are called orders, in order to do said action. And we can attack you, Bramble Skinner. Get rid of that fort, because it's in an awkward spot. And so the orders system, what it does, is it essentially levelizes the playing field with you and the AI. You know, in late game Civ 6, they can take their turn in, like, 1 second. Whereas you, the player, it could take you upwards of 15 minutes to get through all the combat permutations that you would need to do in Civ 6. So what Old World does is, by using the order system, you are able to have the same kind of thinking as the AI in that you don't have to spend a bajillion hours analyzing your turn. And if you watch any other YouTuber talk about Civ 6, this is what's referred to as the churn. Basically, when you know you're going to win the game, but you're just having to play the game out in order to actually do so. In Old World, this is really never... this doesn't occur to me because there's so many ways you can lose. And at the same time, there's so many things you can do to put yourself ahead of the AI. And another thing that it does that I think is really quite innovative is that Civ 6 has the problem in that while there are multiple victory conditions to the game, none of the victory conditions really support each other. Like, the best example I have where this is kind of the case is that get rid of that. Definitely don't need that. Is that if you're going for a science victory, you can kind of pivot into a domination victory because you'll have the tech for good military units, although your economy won't be set up for production. But it's kinda, you can kinda pivot. Whereas with Old World, there are only 2 victory types, surprisingly. There is essentially a what's called culture victory type, in which you get... Alright, stop spamming me with the things, game. Please. The culture victory type, in which you get more points for better developed cities, which is good. I like playing tall. But then there is something called an ambition victory, in which if you get 10 ambitions, which are special goals like kill 10 units or get this tech within a certain time frame, you also win the game. And so what's really cool is, like, you'll be playing against an enemy and you'll be like, okay, if I'm facing him and one of his goals, or his ambitions, sorry, is to kill military units, then I don't want to attack him because he's going to win the game faster. Because he's going to kill my units. So maybe I need to pivot more to an economic game. And I will say that the economic portion of Old World is truly... it's up there. I think kind of the leaders in the genre are something like Endless Legend, which if you've ever played that game, you'll know it's basically all economics. I don't really care for the combat in that game at all. It really... Oh man, I almost thought I bricked myself out of a military. Out of the mission tree. If you've ever played Endless Legend, it just isn't... it's great for the economic portion, but everything else is... just doesn't really work. And we'll put a castle there for ease of my sanity. And so, the economy in Old World is essentially the district system in Civ 6, but better, is how I would describe it. You know, the district system in Civ 6 is cookie cutter. Like, there's one way to play it. Whereas in Old World, you're actually, like, crafting your cities, kind of tile by tile. You're deciding, oh, this... In Civ 6, you can really only dedicate a city, like, one way. It's like, oh, I want this to be a production city, or, oh, I want this to be a science city. In Old World, it's completely different. It's, oh, I want this to be focused on producing civics and knowledge for my nation. But then, as the game goes further, because I've produced so much civics, I can then pivot that into creating specialists, which are essentially just they're the district system from Civ 6, and so they help you to further specialize your cities. And if you were to lose one of these cities, it would be devastating because of how tall you have to play in order to get the victory points for the culture victory. And it truly is. I don't mean to gush too much. As I still enjoy EU4. But there is a new challenger in the ring. What does it say? Ooh, stability. Yes, please. Okay. So we could go to war with... How many people would I have to face? It's doable. I don't really want to do it right now, but it's definitely doable. Oh, yes! You colonized into me, you fool! No, you didn't. Ah. Dang it. Alright, let's go take out you, Silent Blade. Because I don't want to deal with you. Ooh. This is the tech that will allow me to steal maps. That is huge. with that, we can essentially, like, we can actually expand. Okay, so I want to steal from Ordia. Do I want to steal from Ordia? I mean, it's the only person I can see, so I guess we're stealing from Ordia. And actually, I haven't decided yet whether we're gonna go... Oh, who am I kidding? We're a legendary necromancer. We have to go undead army. But we won't do it just yet, because it's not... Well, I guess we could. Maybe we'll form a big coalition and do it. I wonder if I can buy provinces off of Harpulin. Because then I want to have to fight them. Right? They just added that with the new favor system? It's a core. Nuts. Man. Alright. Let's get this fort siege down. Core all the Emerald Orc provinces. And continue burning out the forest goblins. Goblins. Oh, who are you attacking? Oh, you're attacking Besartes and Gelculus? That doesn't seem like a good... Well, I can't tell. Looks like... Yeah, I can't... I know that's an elf name. That's Barkhand right there. Right there. Or maybe that's Azka Everon. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Man, I would hate to, like, discover the world and find out there's, like, a huge Sarian or a Jadari the size of Holan. Hellas. That would be disappointing. Alright, there's the fort there. Do I want to keep it? I should have gotten rid of his cores, but who cares? Burn. Do I want to keep the fort? Yeah, actually, I think that's in a good location for a fort. And Corver. Ooh, you discovered some gold, now did you there? Well, I will claim that for myself soon enough. Neat. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Okay. And we could get the next military... Ooh, it would actually be quite tempting. Quite tempting indeed. But with that, and before I keep rambling on about Old World, I promise, the uploads for EU4 are gonna continue. I'm still enjoying it quite a bit. It's... Anbennar, I keep coming back to it. It's been... Gosh, I think like 3 or 4 years now that I've... Three, yeah. It just... I can't wait for the new Hellas. As soon as the Hellas patch drops, that's probably when I'm gonna get addicted to Anbennar all over again. But until then, I'm trying to not spoil myself. I have a feeling there's a ton of content that they just haven't even talked about yet. And that's a good sign. But I would be interesting to hear about any niche games that you guys have played, aside from EU4, such as Old World, because I'm always curious to try out new games. But with that, I thank you for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more.